know the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
To infinity and beyond!
What is going on, guys? Dan here, welcome back into the channel, and today I thought I would give you the best of the best, the top 10 Disney must-dos. Now this could be really broad, top 10 Disney must-dos, like top 10 Disney must-dos in the theme park, food, movies, like it's crazy. But I thought I'm gonna give you my top 10 Disney, like Walt Disney must-dos. Like these are the things that you should do that will connect yourself to Walt the man himself. Now these things can range from movies to theme parks to food to anything. So you gotta go with me on some of these, but trust me, go buy these, listen to these, and you'll feel connected to Walt himself. My first thing you should do is go back to 1928 and watch the original, the OG Disney cartoon that really begins this whole Disney revelation. And that is 1928's Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was created by Walt Disney and iWorks, and it was the first kind of animated cartoon that had synchronized sound with a musical score and character sounds. Now this wasn't Mickey Mouse's first appearance. His first appearance was in Plain Crazy, which was released earlier in 1928. But this is the main thing that started this whole Disney animated company and the animation studios using this musical score and character sounds all blended into one. This was kind of the first thing that Walt Disney and iWorks created that kind of projected them into the future. Number 2 on my list is another animated film, but it's probably the first animated film that really stuck to Walt and pretty much paid for everything that came in the future, and that was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Released in 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a monumental hit. It was the thing that paid for Walt Disney's studio that he built. This was the first full-length animated feature film, including sound and Technicolor, which kind of blew up Hollywood. This movie was so good, so important, that Walt Disney received his own unique special Oscar at the Academy Awards presented to him by Shirley Temple. Now without Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, we would not have animation today. We wouldn't have Walt Disney Animations. We wouldn't have Pixar, DreamWorks, all these, incredible animated companies if it wasn't for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Take a bite. Snow White.
Number 3 on my list, we got to go back to 1955 and the release of Disneyland. Now, one of the things that I recommend that everybody should do at least once in their life is to visit Disneyland. Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Everybody needs to go to the place where Walt was walking to create a land, a theme park where families and kids can have fun together. Number 4 on my list, of course, we've got to go to food at some point, and we've got to go to Walt Disney's favorite food. Now you can actually create this recipe so you can have and eat like Walt Disney. And his favorite recipe, his favorite thing to eat was chili. Now chili, this was the ingredients that he used to create his famous chili, and you can try this at home. 2 pounds of dried pink beans, 2 whole onions sliced, 2 pounds of coarse ground beef, 2 cloves of garlic minced, half a cup of oil, 1 cup of chopped celery, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of dry mustard, and 1 large can of solid packed tomatoes, as well as some salt. That was Walt Disney's recipe of his world famous chili. So if you want to eat like Walt, that's how you make it. Number 5, you got to head over to Walt Disney World and check out Epcot. Now Epcot was not intended to be a theme park. Epcot was Walt Disney's experimental prototype community of tomorrow, and he was going to create this city where he was going to bring people all over the world to live in a place of harmony and peace and technology advances. So he wanted to create this Epcot, the city, but unfortunately Walt Disney passed before he created this city. So the Walt Disney Imagineers created this theme park called Epcot to pay homage to Walt Disney's idea of an experimental city. So you can go and check out Epcot over in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And you can also, as a little bit of a side tip, head over to Magic Kingdom, head on to the TTA, Transit Authority People Mover, and go and see the actual model of the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which Walt Disney created. Number 6 on my list is a film that was released in the 1950s and 60s called The Reluctant Dragon. Now this film was followed a man who was taken on a tour around the Walt Disney Studios, trying to sell his book to Walt Disney called The Reluctant Dragon. It's kind of like a breaking the fourth wall kind of film released by the Walt Disney Studios, showing everybody what it was like to work in the Walt Disney Studios. Brilliant film. It actually features probably one of Walt's only appearances in his own actual movies. So go and watch The Reluctant Dragon to actually see Walt Disney in one of his own live action animated films.
Don't be afraid. I'm only the train whistle.
Well, they certainly have improved the looks of them since I was a boy. What goes on around here?
We're making the sound for a cartoon train. Look, I'll show you.
Number 7 on my list is over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and that is One Man's Dream. One Man's Dream is kind of like a mini museum showing everybody what it was like for Walt growing up to where he was now, and the ideas that are coming out through the Walt Disney Studios and the Walt Disney Company today. You follow him, looking at his earlier life and then seeing how his whole business started, and then we get to see him during the later parts of his life with the whole of Disneyland and the World of Color TV show up until his death, and then also it shows some of the interesting things that are coming out today in Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Number 8 on my list is another film released in 2013 called Saving Mr. Banks. Now this was all about how Disney got the rights to the Mary Poppins character. This is a fantastic film, and Tom Hanks really portrays Walt Disney perfectly. Tom Hanks is a fantastic actor, and he really brought those details of Walt Disney and his personality to life in the 20th century. So guys, if you want to check out a great interpretation of the man Walt Disney, please go check out Saving Mr. Banks.
Sure. Here you go. Here you go.
Pre-signed.
Hey, you should get hers too. This woman is a bona fide genius.
Number 9 on my list is the actual full museum, the Walt Disney Family Museum over at San Francisco in California. Now this literally was set up by the Disney family themselves, and this really is kind of like one man's dream on a massive scale. Really lots of amazing artifacts that really show us a lot about the Walt Disney Company as well as Walt Disney himself. If you guys haven't checked out the Walt Disney Family Museum, I highly recommend it. This is in San Francisco. It is just a beautiful homage to the man himself. Number 10 on my list is a film that was released in 1967, which is The Jungle Book. Now you're probably thinking, why is this the last one on my list? Why are we watching The Jungle Book as an homage to Walt? Well, this was the last film that Walt Disney worked on when he passed in 1966. 1967's The Jungle Book was the last film that Walt ever really had his hands on, and it's a beautiful film, and it's just, when you think of Walt Disney, people really often overlook The Jungle Book because that was his last big kind of project.
Bare necessities of life will come to you.
I like being a bear.
That's my boy.
So guys, I hope you really enjoyed my top 10 must-do Disney things. I know it's a little different to, everyone was thinking, oh, this is so general, it's such a general topic, so many different things, but these things really connect yourself to Walt himself, and these are things that I think people can do at least once in their lifetime. It's something that really resonates a lot to me as a Disney fan. Please go and check me out on Twitter and on Instagram. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. Really helps me out a lot. Please check out my partner channels, Mickey's Magic and Corey Fiasco. Disney Fiasco every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go check out my merchandise over on Spreadshirt.com. All the links are in the description box down below. Thank you so much, guys. Live your life with a smile each and every day, and I'll see you guys real soon. Goodbye.